And yeah, as for the commentators, it's your favorite Dutch and British guy, JB Hyperion, and me, Sati, will be your commentators for the upcoming 2 matches. And yeah, we do play Osu, or at least if you mean standard Osu with that. I occasionally play Osu standard. This is like directed towards you, Maxim Bogdan. But I myself am mainly a catch the beat player, as you could probably understand me commentating this World Championship. Also playing in the Dutch team this year, but yeah, standard is occasionally very much fun. Not good at the game mode whatsoever, but you can, yeah, enjoy a little bit. It's 3-dimensional compared to the 2-dimensional catch the beat, I guess, in a way too. So to most people, it's more interesting, and that's very much understandable. To me, I like catch more due to it being a little bit unique compared to the other modes. What about you, JBH?
Yeah, play catch mostly, but a little bit of all modes really. Probably Mania is the mode I play the least. But most of my time is spent mapping really, and I just kind of play occasionally to test out new ideas and see what other people have been mapping and what they've been trying out. So playing kind of old maps, trying to get PP or like that is not something that really interests me that much anymore. Mostly on the mapping side, but obviously commentating on the World Cup here for the first year, so it's really been interesting to see how people adapt to the new meta, and for that playing is interesting to get an idea of what people are up to.
I mean, interesting to me is the tournament scene, of course. I also host tournaments myself, community hosted tournaments, that is. I've been commentating for a while, but yeah, this is a way different skill too, of course. You can see players that normally don't really play in any community tournaments playing here as well. So it's very interesting to see how everybody adapts to the map pools and such, right? But for some reason, the entirety of the Indo team just left the multiplayer lobby. Not quite sure what they want to do. Maybe they want to switch up and bring in the other 3 players. I mean, I don't know if they have any kind of access to the multiplayer lobby currently. If they hadn't invited other players from their team. Ah well. Seemingly Galaxy is back, so we'll be fine. There comes everyone.
So as you mentioned, looks like Indonesia has swapped out all 3 of the players, looking to give everyone a bit of match experience, maybe trying to cover all the bases. They want everyone as ready as possible.
I mean, it can be really convenient if you win the role and get to pick first, because you can swap out the 3 players from the warm-up with the 3 other players, which I think Indo is trying to go for here. But it's down to RNG a little bit as well, so yeah. Let's hope the best for them anyway. Dusk now playing with Hidden as the only... And actually, Mizuking picking up Hidden as well. My apologies. But no hard rock craziness this time round. Crystal, the only one to hold on after the intro, actually doing a very good performance currently. Jesus Christ.
I believe this is a Rurochi standard convert, so potentially... oh, wow.
Potentially team killing, yeah?
I was about to say that this was crazy enough without hard rock, but yeah, it looks like that's been proven right there.
Well, there goes Indonesia not being able to correctly correspond to the Chinese warm-up. I guess this is the Chinese warm-up, really looking at it. And there's the rolls.
Yes.
Can't see him yet, but I did see a rolling icon there.
I think it was a 39 for Dusk, but I might be wrong.
39 for Dusk indeed. Waiting for Deceitful to probably join and roll for his team.
I think he has had a pretty good record for rolls so far, so maybe they're riding on his luck.
Yeah, his roll of 3 was a really good previous match against us. That almost beat my 90. Okay, this is something different. 97 from Deceitful. He just kind of jinxed it in a good way. There you have it, Indonesia here. Outperforming Chinese's role, being able to pick first and ban second. There's the Intersect Thunderbolt ban from China, one of the more gimmicky hidden picks that we've seen in this tournament so far. Really difficult as well. I've seen very little FCs being shown after the map pool showcase from players. Which
yeah,
I guess... Sorry?
I did have a casual attempt at some of these in a multi-lobby. And I'm not an expert on hidden by any means, but I do play it a little bit, and this was especially difficult. Trying to maintain a combo with such weird spacing and high DPM was just really difficult, so I'm not surprised there's a ban there.
And the ban for Indonesia is going to be the 8.5 double time Toho song. Well said. Title doesn't pop up in my head right now either. You have Died As You Know, you have the Benny Bananas map, and then you have another one. Oh, that's a convert. That's a convert. Yeah.
You need to Kakurega.
Yep, that one. Which is a little bit less convenient than the other catch maps, but the other catch maps are faster than the convert. And I think the difficulty lies in technique more than in speed on the map that Indonesia just banned. So not too comfortable on that, but we are seeing some technical picks being banned from both teams here. You can really consider Thunderbolt Remix to also be a technical map for these kind of players. Oh, the hey, I don't remember the map names thing again. Yeah, that's me. Sorry. I'm very bad at remembering that kind of stuff. But at least we got it.
Vaguely at the mod pool. That one.
There we have it. Marigold is going to be the first pick of this match, going straight into Hidden with the, to me, most difficult map of all of them. I wonder how this one is going to turn out. For other people that don't know, this match is going to be a best of 11 match, so that means the first team to get 6 points will be the victor of today's match. The loser of these two teams will move down into the losers bracket, and the winner of these teams will have secured themselves a spot in the winners bracket finals. So that's going to be very exciting. Lots of pressure for both teams. This is going to be good, JBH, isn't it? It's going to be really good.
Yeah, I really think this could rock back and forward the whole way, and it's interesting to see that Deceitful has opened with possibly the most difficult hidden pick, as you said. China not being any slouches at hidden, but Indonesia saying, we think we're stronger than you at hidden, so we're just going to go out of the gate with it. For anyone who hasn't followed the earlier stages of the tournament, the players have a pool of 15 maps to choose from, plus 1 tiebreaker that we will only play if the score is leveled at 5 all. So there's 6 no-mod maps, and then 3 maps in each of the hidden, double time, and hard rock pools before any bans that we previously saw.
There's some M2U hype going on in the chat, but I want to see which team you guys are supporting, so give your team some energy for this match. Both of them are going to need it the utmost. This is very important. And of course, good luck to both teams. Coming from your favorite commentators, JBH and Sarton. Let's get into that first map in a few seconds. I reckon this one to be really interesting since Indonesia has dropped some really good hidden performances in the tournament so far. And China is definitely no slouch with hidden either, but this is on another level compared to the previous rounds, of course. And there's the first miss already from Galaxy very early on, not sure what's going on there. But the map only escalates in its difficulty, so that might be a very bad start for Indonesia.
On the contrary, we have seen that misses at the beginning don't impact your score very much compared to misses in the middle where you're already at that bonus combo mark. So,
and there's misses from both Dusk and Galaxy. Which are, as you said, more detrimental. Same goes for Crystal here as he misses. Just after the 200 combo cap, where you score caps out. After 200 combo, the notes don't give any more score than they would at 200. Galaxy really struggling on this map. And the lead is rocking back and forth. Score difference is very minor though. This could swing either way. Getting into the Ki soon. There's misses from two Chinese players. Crystal and Callion not being able to hold on. DK and Deceitful will follow that up. Galaxy the only one left with a 200 combo. Plus on the Indonesian side. Same goes for China with Dusk. And the score again is rocking back and forth. So I've got to rely on Dusk here. As he is pulling off an almost 500 combo, and it's looking pretty secure for China if they don't have any major drops anymore. It does seem that DK is going to drop another one. Indonesia now lagging behind, but about a 100,000 point difference, I mean. And I think this one is going to go to China, looking at it. The outro is not really that difficult. No difficulty spikes incoming anymore. And there you have it. Kalina missing towards the end, but it's not going to matter in the long run. That was very tight though. This could have swung either way. But yeah, China immediately picking up a break point. Now in the lead with a single point. Indonesia looking to find a point to place themselves on the scoreboard. But this is going to be difficult since the next pick will be from China.
Yeah, Indonesia need to look for a break back here because if they start right out of the gate with a 2-0 loss, that's going to be really kind of dampening for their spirits. That match swung backwards and forwards throughout. Could have gone either way, so shouldn't be too upset that they got broken there. They can come back from this. But if it gets too far, then could be problems.
And there's Saigo, the pick from China, which is a no-mod convert pick. Probably one of the harder ones as well. Has some filthy spacings. And if you don't concentrate throughout the entirety of the map, you're going to miss those. 100% surely. Indonesia is switching out one player, Yuka changing up Dika in the roster. As for China, I think that's the exact same roster as they had in the previous map. And here we are, the players are loading into the map, getting into that second one. Let's see if Indonesia is going to be able to do an idem dito breakpoint as China just did. It was really close on that map, and I do believe that Indonesia is very much capable of taking this one as well. It's all going to come down to how China performs on their own pick. Spinner advantage here for China, if that's going to matter in the long run, but I don't expect to see full combos from everyone. 2 misses already on the Indonesian side. Galaxy and Deceitful not being able to surpass the 100 combo. And the same goes for Yuka. None of the players in Indonesia actually reaching the 200 combo cap. Dust is going to miss as well, but it's not going to be as major as the misses on the Indonesian side. Kellyan and Crystal not able to take it away. Early lead for China, and that's going to be very important for the remainder of the map. This really is the part where all people are probably going to be able to build up their combos. The more tranquil parts. Some annoying plate walks, which could make you choke, but it's only going to happen to Yuka. Galaxy and Deceitful now well over the 200 combo cap again, so China's not going to be able to run away that far from Indonesia. But still, the lead is there. We'll be getting in one of the more difficult parts soon again. There's some filthy spacings in here, but I don't see the players struggling on them at all. So that just shows how much skill these people have acquired over the years of playing this game. These two teams are some of the most impressive ones in this tournament, really. Crystal and Kellyan are still rocking in NSS as well. So far into the map. There's misses from Kellyan and Yuka, however. Kellyan missing twice here, which is going to be detrimental to China, as Indonesia is going to be able to crawl up just a little bit. But right as I say that, Yuka is going to miss as well. It's pretty tight, once again. Not going to lie to you. This is pretty nerve-wracking for all these players, most definitely. Crystal, the other one left with a full combo. But as I said, he is dropping. Not sure how this one is actually going to end up, as both teams are so close to each other's scores now. Yuka now, however, missing as well. Finding some consistent misses, but the same goes for Kellyan as he finds another one. These two people are actually struggling on the map. All the other players are doing quite fine. Deceitful, Galaxy, and Dusk are all above the 1k combo. Oh my god, the score is closing in just a little bit, but it will all have to come down to Dusk and Crystal whether they are going to miss for the Chinese side, which is not looking like it thus far. Kellyan finding another miss again, but it's going to be too late for Indonesia to capitalize on that one, I think. And yeah, there it is. 30k score difference, but China's going to take up their second point now. Indonesia really struggling here, but they were so close once again. Wow, Deceitful and Galaxy only finding one miss throughout the entirety of the map as well. Yuka, however, with the struggle, not being able to get a higher combo than 420, and therefore making Indonesia lose, sadly. But I mean, with this much pressure, it's very much understandable.
So 2 very close games to open up. Indonesia being unfortunately on the losing end of both of them. Their pick next, will they be able to get a point on the board?
I mean, 30k difference in score. And then on the first map it was about the same too. That's so minor. That's only about 1% of your entire score. FD Fluorides is going to be our next pick from Indonesia. Hidden pick, AR 8.5, I think. To be fair, the most consistent difficulty throughout the hidden map pool. And the AR is a little bit higher than I expected. Seemingly it's 8.8. Anyway, it's just a little bit below 9, so for some people it is a little bit out of the comfort zone. It's not that major though. It's not as bad as Fialego from the group stage. JBH.
Yeah, you'll never let that live down. But interesting to see that Indonesia are still sticking with hidden here.
I mean, they did find the noble pick as well, but I do think that their resolve is to try and find a weak point in China's defense for hidden maps.
We did see an attempt from Poland to do the same thing in their match against Mexico in the quarterfinals. I mean, they lost on Usate by a small margin to Mexico on hidden, which I guess they perceived as a weakness. Then even when they were 3-1 down and in danger of being broken again, they still stuck with hidden and it didn't pay off. They went 4-1 down and Mexico cleaned up to take the 5th point. So potentially risky strategy, but we're going to see if it pays off. Dusk with the early miss on the Chinese side there, but Galaxy following shortly after.
But there's 2 misses there again from Dika and Dusk. Kind of leveling up both teams' scores a little bit here.
You know, we saw the scores flickering backwards and forwards, and those 2 drops at almost exactly the same point are going to keep that way. But Dusk actually taking another drop there is going to put the advantage in Indonesia's favour.
Again, this is fairly close, but now it seems that Indonesia's tactic is finally paying off, as Crystal is going to find a miss too. And it looks like they're pretty solid. Kalyanet 2. No combos over the 200 mark for China left anymore. That's very surprising. Deceitful still rocking an SS. Pulling off a crazy performance here, to be fair.
You cursed him. He's just hit that. Really unfortunate.
Oh, no. I did it again, but still Indo in the lead.
Yeah, Galaxy dropping a few times there, but Crystal in danger of failing. Dusk missing as well, and now Dika. All the combos have kind of been leveled out with only Kalyanet hitting that 200 combo mark. But there's a really sizable lead in Indonesia's favor here, and China can't capitalize.
It, however, can still swing over, as there's still quite some map left to play. As Galaxy and Dika are finding misses again. Not too comfortable on this anymore, it seems. They did very good in the beginning of the map, and now the lead is almost switching over to the Chinese side. It's looking pretty grim for Indonesia, as Galaxy's going to find another miss here.
Yeah, with still a quarter of the map left to go, without missing, China should manage to take this back very soon.
And they are indeed taking it back. Right towards the end of the map. That's going to be very painful. Only a drop from almost all players on the Chinese side is going to be able to save Indonesia here. But as you can see, Dusk and Kalyan are both missing. And it might just open up the doors for Indonesia.
No one on China holding a combo now.
And there's an opportunity for Indonesia to capitalize on, as all the players have reached the 200 combo mark by now.
Yeah, Indonesia perfectly poised to open up a huge lead here now.
And there it is, final spin of the map. Really, there's only a few notes coming after. Oh, not the final spinner, my bad. There's actually 2 at the very end. But there you have it.
Missing at the end there, but it's not going to be enough. Indonesia take a fairly comfortable win in the end there on swing backwards and forwards.
But there's your first win from Indonesia. Kalyan here with the least misses of all players, doing very good. Only finding 3 misses. Deceitful, however, only in the middle with 4 misses. So having a little bit of high score and Kalyanet really showing off his skill. But that was really close once again. Some back and forth action. That's something I can really enjoy.
We were hoping for at the start of the match, and hopefully we'll see some more. So really well played by Indonesia to get a point on the board there. They stuck with hidden, and it paid off for them.
But luckily, Indonesia is able to find themselves on the scoreboard now, as China will be the next team to pick. But I mean, they almost took a break point in the first pick of China's, so who knows, they might just do it now. 30k difference in that pick. I mean, that's only 1%. Hainaido Biori, the Hard Rock Convert pick. Now this is about consistency and concentration. There's two maps that kind of look alike in the Hard Rock map pool. This one and one of the cat-specific difficulties, which is called Punch Mind Happiness. And the difference between these two is Punch Mind Happiness is a little bit more of a bursty map, where you will have to go full out for like just a minute or so. It's a TV-sized map, so for a short time. But this one is quite lengthy. I think double the length of Mind Happiness. But it does have these nasty spacing, nasty jumps as well. Two triplets too, which could be unexpected. Suddenly not landing on your plate. Who knows? So this is a pick that both teams will definitely like. I do know that Indonesia has players capable of doing this, and China logically picking this with confidence as well, hopefully at least. Hidden being picked by two of the Indonesian team's players for the Semifinals Galaxy, that is. China staying clean with Hard Rock only. Getting into that first section of the map. There's misses already from the seat from Sakurano Karimo very early on, but that's to be expected, to be fair. Another one found by Sakurano. The lead is just slightly in Indonesia's favor, but Yuka's going to find a miss too, so this again is going to be rocking back and forth constantly, I do believe. Shoutcasting all the misses would be stupid in this case, really. But again, the lead slightly in the hands of Indonesia currently. And this is where you can find most misses of all players. Yuka did already find one. Sakurano is going to follow that up again. It seems that those two players are mainly struggling on the map, as does Galaxy Seafall Nage doing really well. But as I said, that Galaxy's going to find his first miss of the map, and that's going to rock the lead to China. But only slightly, only a few thousand points again, as you can see. And there's a miss from Nagi for the Chinese team. That's going to be very important for Indonesia. Two misses actually, and the lead rocks back forward the Indonesian side. Oh, this is really interesting to see. There's constant misses all over the board. Yuka now too. And Dusk is the only person left on the entire screen with a full combo. And there's S actually. Darn, this is really close. Only 3k points difference, as you can see on the stream currently. It's switching back over to China just slightly now, as Nagi has a higher combo compared to Yuka. Both players still not being at a 200 cap. Now Nagi reaching that, but Galaxy is going to miss again for Indonesia as we get into the final part of the map. And it seems that Indonesia is falling apart as the Seafall is going to find misses too. That's the only one doing really well on the map currently. 50k lead for China now, and I do believe it's too late for Indonesia to bring it back now. There's misses all over the board actually, but I don't believe there's enough space for Indonesia to be able to capitalize on those Chinese misses currently happening. Even no, the score difference is only 20k. How is this one going to end up to be? It is going to be a slight difference in score only. China taking this one to 3-1. With a score difference of only 17k. Jesus Christ. $16,877 score difference. And here we go with chest. Oh, please get out of here. That's a good way of saying it deceitful. I thank you for doing that. There's of course some vulgar words in that title. But yeah, this is a no mod pick. Very much snappy. It's very bursty as well. It all comes down to about a 2-minute long song.
Kick some ass.
I don't expect to see a lot of misses on this one as opposed to the map that we have seen thus far. Press or leave the premises it is. Okay, I mean, you can say it either way. There's more unique ways of trying to say it as well. I'm not going to try and get into those. As long as you don't see the actual title, really. So JBH, as we've seen thus far, China now 2 points ahead of Indonesia, but Indonesia's been showing some resilience and resistance here. Do you believe that this one is going to go to a tiebreaker, actually, or not? Because the score difference on all the maps thus far has been so little. Or not. This one's probably going to go into a cringe compilation, but I do believe that both I and JBH are thinking that this is going to be a very equal match. I actually believe that this has the potential to go to a tiebreaker anyway. Especially looking at the way that Indonesia has performed on the Chinese picks anyway. China just getting maybe a lucky breakpoint at the very start of the match, and that's going to prove very important soon enough as we get into the final picks of the match.
Kick some ass.
Here we are, 5th map of this match. With a title I'm not going to pronounce or try to change and differ. As you can see, very much snappy, but no breaks so far for any player. And I don't expect them to happen very often anyway. Even detail scores because all players are still rocking that SS. There's very little to say about what's going on now. I guess that both teams are building up the pressure here. I assume that both teams are under belief that they think that the other team is seeing the map as well. And again, the difference is so little. Here comes the first spin. It's all going to come down to this maybe. And I still can't see a difference in score, to be fair. I think that China got it just a little bit. just a slight lead for China, I do believe, but it might just switch over to Indonesia at the very end. It's all gonna come down to whether one of all players is gonna miss. It's gonna be server for Indonesia. China now having a very refined lead over them. Dusk, missing right before the break too, and that's maybe able to switch up some things as well. It really depends on the remainder of the map. There's some very annoying snapping here. The score difference is so little again, and I don't know how this one is going to end up to be. I don't think is Indonesia going to be able to pull it back again. Seemingly not, with only 7,000 points of difference. China taking up another break point, and that's going to be very detrimental to Indonesia, as they are now 4-1 in the lead, with their pick being the next one. Darn, that's so close, but thus far, only seeing differences in score between the 5,000 and the 20,000 mark. This is actually crazy. Sorry for getting a little bit hyped over there, but you gotta understand, that's crazy. Dai Genome will be the next pick for China, however. I do have the impression that both teams as players are, however, enjoying the time here. I mean, close matches are always cool to have, even if you're in a losing position, really. I mean, it hurts after the match is over, but as you're playing, it only riles you up a little bit more. To most people, that is. As for the commentator, who's that? My name is Sarton. Catch player myself as well. Please don't report my Osu profile for getting a little bit too excited over this match. But you guys should be excited as well. Show your team a little bit of hype. Give them your energy. As Indonesia is looking to bring this to a tiebreaker. Or maybe even a sweep from here on. They've definitely not been underperforming.
So thanks for taking care of things whilst I've been struggling with technical difficulties, Sarton. Hopefully I've managed to sort them out now. I did miss a little bit of action, unfortunately, which yeah, is a little bit annoying, but I mean, we expected these games to be pretty close, but I think aside from the scoreline, this has been closer than anyone could have imagined so far.
I mean, you can see that here again. All players still holding on to that FC. Only China with this slight accuracy advantage currently. And again, this could go either way. It's going to come down to that first miss. As we are approaching the halfway point of the map. I shouldn't be shouting as loud whenever a miss happens, but it might just happen again.
Don't blame him, it's too hype.
Dika with a very low accuracy, however, that's bringing the team down just a little bit. Imagine if all players would be to FC this map, that is. It's gonna come down to that one miss.
It's a very real possibility, considering we are only about a quarter of the map left.
As for Alva Royal, this hidden does not make a difference anymore in score, as it only is seen as a visual mod currently, not giving any kind of multiplier. We're getting into the last 50 notes of the map and nobody has dropped so far. Oh my god, what is happening over here? A 1,000 score difference is all players who have seen this. A double S incoming from Kalyanet, only one droplet miss from Dusk, and it seems that China... Oh my god, it came down to the accuracy advantage. This is a first timer in this tournament as China takes up the 5th point. Jesus Christ.
That's going to be heartbreaking for Indonesia. I mean, they've lost by kind of tens of thousands or a few thousands, but now to lose by just 1,000 points, they've got to be thinking, what do we have to do to win another game here?
I hope their mindset will be to just rock on and do what they are good at, seeing maps, and hope that China is going to choke from here on, but Jesus Christ.
1,460 points, the final score difference.
I'm trying to stay calm, I really am, yeah. Deceitful coming with the "this is why being an SS play is important" Lamau. Deceitful indeed being known for his crazy average accuracy. I think it's still 100%, if not 99.99. But yeah, from here on, it's going to be difficult for Indonesia.
Well, their hidden picks are out of the way, obviously winning one and then losing. So what do they really pick for comfort now? I mean, China have been so strong on no mod, although Indonesia only lost out narrowly. They've now lost on hard rock and double time. Where do they go from here?
Deceitful indeed taking his time to pick logically.
Well, a further game loss here spells Indonesia's demise in the winners bracket, so they really need to put some thought into this.
Somebody in chat saying this will be the closest 6-1 match ever. I mean, if it were to be that China will take the next point, then yeah, that's definitely gotta go that way.
Regardless of what the final scoreline is, this has already been an exceptionally close match, far more so than the current 5-1 scoreline suggests. Indonesia have just been so unfortunate to lose out by those narrow margins. China just proving a little bit more consistent where it counts.
The commentators know they don't have a chance. Well, actually, like, it always seems that commentators are indeed trying to imply, like, okay, the other team is going to reverse sweep from here on. You know, trying to give some false hope. But really, false hope in this one? Not really. Because you could see the score difference. Indonesia only trailing behind, ranging between 1 and 20,000 score. And there's a definite possibility for Indonesia to still be able to grab 4 points in this match.
If you look at it another way, a miss in any of the previous games from one of the Chinese players would probably have given Indonesia a point. So all that happens is Indonesia have to stay consistent and China just to make a miss, and the whole situation of the game is changed. Admittedly, waiting for China to miss and hoping for them to make mistakes is not the best strategy, but it's all Indonesia really have to hope for right now is they just need to stick to their game and hope that China slip up.
Here's Function Phantom Algebra. A collab between Crystal and Spectator. I mean, still is the Minato Yukina and Spectator. There you have it. Some name changes there. One of the longer picks has 2 very tricky streamy parts. I'm just gonna stay silent for as long as I can, knowing that this will probably come down to a very close score difference as well.
If any of the previous 6 games are to go by, then you wouldn't be probably wrong there.
Yeah, everybody in chat, hype it up for these two teams. Let's hope that Indonesia is able to remain in this match for a little longer, because this is so enjoyable for everyone, I do believe. As we get into the first difficult part of the map. Flawless. Unbelievable. I'm just gonna point out the accuracy drop from Galaxy, because that might just be very important in the long run, as we saw in the previous map. And there's the first break of the map. 50 points of difference between these two monstrous teams. They can see each other's scores now. How is this gonna go down? The part next up is going to be very difficult too. This spinner might just be the terminal of the outcome of this match. China outspinning Indonesia again. China will have to find a miss for Indonesia to still succeed in this match. And there's a miss from Crystal on the Chinese side, as well as Galaxy for Indonesia, but still, there's some movement going on between the scores now. The lead now again in China's hands, just slightly. Any miss can spell out doom for either teams now. This is nerve-wracking. Is it really gonna come down to the wire again?
I think we always expected that from the beginning based on the previous games.
Here's the last streamy part. Only part you can potentially miss on for the remainder of the map. Crystal missing for China, and Indonesia now has a very slight lead. It all comes down to whether none of the players are going to miss now. And a bit of a pinch, but it might just have paid off in the end. And it's Indonesia taking this point with 15k score difference.
They said that Indonesia were finished. It's only one game, but the comeback might be starting here.
Yeah, there's some PogChamps in the chat, and I can definitely understand that. But this is intense. I'm really feeling this one. Oh my god. There's your second point from the Indonesian team. And Utopia Sphere will be picked by the Chinese team. This is a double time pick on AR9. First one in this tournament. That's really a benchmark for some double time players. If you can play AR9 double time, you're considered to be pretty fast.
And as you said at the beginning of the stream, Dusk has been putting in some pretty impressive double time performances in the recent weeks. So sticking with double time, maybe that's their strategy for now, to try and get that final point.
JPH, are they gonna take another point in Indonesia?
Well, from a neutral perspective, you always want to see kind of hype and intensity. So without picking favourites, I'd love to see a comeback here. Get it all fired up to 5-5. Perfect way to open up the day and set the tone for our remaining matches. I don't think China are going to be phased by that small dent. I mean, they've still got 3 games in hand, so they've got a bit to play with.
Getting into, what is it now, the 8th map of this match. Indonesia still in the game, but darn, China has some really good double time players. That was a combination of damn and darn, by the way. My bad. A little bit disoriented after seeing all this action going on in this match. From a neutral perspective, I do believe that China has the stronger double time players, but who knows how this might just turn out. The lead is actually slightly in the hands of Indonesia. I think that Sakurana Karima had a very early miss in this map. But we'll probably see some misses after the 300 combo mark from either team.
Yeah, that very early miss from Sakurano, giving Indonesia a very slender lead. But one miss could spin this either way.
Exactly, that might just be the difference that Indonesia needs in order to win this map. As all players are holding on.
Aside from being AR9...
Kalyanet with a miss for China. Sorry for bursting out there, but it gives Indonesia the lead quite comfortably.
I was just about to say, aside from being AR9, this is not the most difficult of maps for anyone competent in double time reading, but that miss
and
has
the Sakura
really
Karima miss
up.
is going to be the nail in the coffin for China. Indonesia taking up another point. Hype it up, everybody. Indonesia is still very much in this game. China now slowly being driven into a corner.
So
Jesus
once
Christ.
again, Indonesia take a point back. And it's now their pick. So, 4-5 on the cards. Still one away from a tiebreaker.
I am actually suspecting this one to maybe go towards that tiebreak indeed. Indonesia and China are both running out of picks now, however, as they've already picked 8 of the 50 maps, only having less than half of them left.
It's 8 out of 13 maps, obviously, because 2 have been banned. So there's only 5 maps available for the teams to pick now. And you can see Indonesia hyped up in the match chat. They're feeling this.
I'm feeling it as well, but Indonesia has developed lots in this match. They've gone from constantly losing slightly to China to constantly winning slightly from China. Very much intense, this.
Yeah, Indonesia definitely not out of the woods yet, guys. Make sure to keep giving them some support if you want to see them back into this.
It's going to be difficult for the Seedfield to pick from here on, however. I mean, it already became really difficult once the scores were on 1-5. But as Indonesia grabs more points and as China loses more, there's less maps to pick from. I'm suspecting to see a normal pick from the Indonesian team now.
Yeah, Indonesia are going to be building confidence here, but they still know that any misstep instantly gives the match to China, so they can't afford to get too kind of fired up. They've just got to stay grounded, stay in the zone, and keep focused till the end.
The seed for asking for a little bit more time. I can understand that. Take your time. Shinzo Sagayo for Indonesia. Yeah, everybody Shinzo Osagio for Indonesia, indeed. We want to see that tiebreaker happen. How to open up a day. Indonesia and China are showing how you should do it. Get all your friends in as well, as this match might just come down to the wire. You want to see this. This is like some of the best you can see from Catch the Beat. I mean, those who catch. I mean, either way is fine, right? Nobody's gonna hate me for saying Catch the Beat, right? There's supporters for both camps. Dave now suggesting to maybe pick a random map. Hold out from doing that just a little bit, Dave. These people need their time.
Well, I think we've had both double time picks and one ban. We've had 2 hidden picks and 1 ban. So that leaves us with
Make
2
a
hard
Zakura.
rock maps and 4 no mods. And yeah, Deceitful choosing Makeruza there, the 300 BPM standard convert. Interesting choice.
Now this one leads to consistent misses, mostly. Which I do believe that Indonesia right now is stronger at. There's little difficult spikes all over the map, really. Other than that, it's very much streamlined, but Deceitful and DK have shown to be very good in maps like these. China is a very potent team too, but I do see this one going to the Indonesia's favor as well, just like we saw in the previous 2 maps.
I guess it all depends on how much they've practiced this particular map, because as you said, whilst there are no major difficulty spikes, there's quite a lot of kind of slightly difficult, challenging points that come up regularly, and with the high BPM of 300, those kind of misses can really come out of nowhere if you're not prepared. By this stage in the tournament, you expect all teams to have really practiced everything kind of down to the wire, but obviously people are going to favour some maps more than others, maybe not playing maps they hope that the opponents won't pick or that they expect to be banned. If anyone's not comfortable with this map, then they could be in for a world of pain with very little chance of building a combo.
And we're going to be starting in 5 seconds. Get ready, chat. This is going to be close again. I can feel it already. And again, our play is still holding on. SS everywhere. There's the first spin in. It does seem that China is going to have a little bit of an advantage over Indonesia. Seemingly they are doing spinners better than Indonesia all across the board on all mods. At least they have shown that thus far anyway.
Yeah,
I'm just really surprised. Sorry?
Very little difference between the Ki and non-Ki sections in terms of intensity, flow, direction changes, jumps and that kind of thing. So really not one that you can kind of relax in the easier sections and build a combo. Although no one has missed yet here, so...
I just wanted to notify that... Oh my god, Mitsu King with the first miss for the Indonesian team though. China now with a definitely... Then oh, what happened there?
It's all fallen apart for Indonesia. All of their players missing there.
Catastrophe. Oh no, this is really bad for Indonesia now. There's gotta be consistent misses on the Chinese team now for all players to still bring this back.
And they're not even halfway through the map yet, so there is still potential for them to build combos back up and China to miss, but that is not what they wanted at all.
Exactly, that's so painful. That's probably going to demoralize them too, looking at the scores of China, seeing that all of them still have an SS so far. They have the exact same spinners too.
That's teamwork.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to see that synergy in the Chinese team. And it's very painful to see Indonesia maybe go down like this after being so resilient against China for the previous few picks.
Well, the fight back was more than teased at, but if China don't start finding some drops here, then that's going to be all she wrote.
I mean, there's still plenty of potential left for the Chinese players to miss, but there's also potential for the Indonesian players to miss. As you can see, Meets King finding his third miss of the map. And I'm starting to doubt the Indonesian potential more and more as the Faithful will find his second miss as well. Deka, the only one with the score cap in his hands. And China is just flying through this map. Effortlessly.
Still no drops from any of the Chinese players at this point.
And as Deka misses the final time, I do believe that China is going to be able to wrap this one up in their favor.
Yeah, with just a quarter of the map left, it's going to take a catastrophe for China to lose now. Indonesia just can't find a way back into this.
And still an SS from all Chinese players. I mean, that on its own is impressive too. Even if Indonesia had not missed throughout the entirety of the map, they probably still wouldn't have taken the win, as China does have the spin advantage every single time. And there you have it, folks. That's 6-3 for China, with a crazy strong Indonesia team that has definitely shown their potential. And they will drop to the losers bracket. They're not out of this tournament yet. China will be facing the winner of the US versus South Korea in the winners bracket next week. Congratulations to them.
Yeah, there was really nothing that Indonesia could have done there. Even if they'd all double S'd, I think the Chinese spin would still have been stronger.
Triple SS from the Chinese side. I mean, yeah, there's just so little you can do against that. And China has secured themselves a top 3 spot already, I think. If I'm not incorrect. Yeah, they have. Our next match will be Hong Kong versus Japan. JBH, what are your expectations of that match?
Again,
will it be as hype as this one?
Similar to the previous match that we've just seen, Japan, although they lost 5-2 to China in the quarterfinals last week, they put up a pretty strong show, and similar to the match we've just seen, a lot of those matches were quite close, so I don't think Japan will be too deflated by going down into the losers bracket. Hong Kong, we usually see kind of the pinnacle of consistency from them, especially in the hidden pool, but they've not been performing to the best of their abilities so far this tournament, I think. A couple of kind of technical malfunctions and player absences have, well, obviously not cost them because they're still at this point in the tournament. They had no real option but to go down against, I think it was South Korea in the round of 16. Yeah, they need to kind of work on alleviating those problems because Japan are not going to offer any mercy.
That's exactly the same way as I'm feeling. Hong Kong has shown to be really potent in double time previous week against the USA. And I do suspect them to be able to use that tactic again. But I think Japan has come prepared, being stronger in almost all of the mods, outdoing the Hong Kong team. Probably going to see a ban from Japan in the double time bracket. And I'm thinking that Hong Kong will be banning some hidden themselves. It could go either way, really, but I do believe that Japan, again, is the stronger team here with the most potential for taking this win and moving forward in the losers bracket.
you want.